Hello, I'm Lydia Koss, and this is my presentation on the Southern Colonies. The Southern Colonies consist of Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Important people to note are George Mason, who was a rich noble. His family owned plantations, and he was against slavery. Eliza Lucas was a 17-year-old girl who discovered indigo, one of the colony's most valuable cash crops. Nathaniel Bacon was the leader of Bacon's Rebellion, and we'll get to that later. Slaves were an important part of the work ethic and all-around economy of the Southern Colonies. The climate was warm, which made for good soil and a long growing period, which lasted for 9 months. It's safe to say that the climate there was the best in all the colonies. Trade and jobs. Most of the jobs belonged to slaves and indentured servants, and mainly consisted of working on plantations to produce cash crops. Cash crops as well as skins and furs were the main exports of the Southern Colonies. Unfortunately, slaves had to endure backbreaking labor in order to produce the cash crops that needed to be exported. The social status in the colonies was mainly the rich and noble class. However, slaves and indentured servants made up a pretty big part of the population. The indentured servants usually worked on plantations or as servants for the rich and nobles until they could afford to pay back and live freely. Some important events to note in the Southern Colonies are the Bacon Rebellion and the Stono Rebellion. Bacon's Rebellion was started when indentured servants outside of Jamestown were being trespassed on by Indians. Nathaniel Bacon complained to the governor of Jamestown, named Berkeley, about his favoritism to the plantation owners. When Berkeley refused to help the indentured servants take land from the Native Americans, he attacked, burning Jamestown to the ground. The rebellion ended when Bacon grew ill and died. The Stono Rebellion took place in 1739. The revolt began when about 20 slaves gathered at the Stono River and started to protest by shouting things like liberty and beating drums. Many people joined them, and they even burned and killed many people on plantations. Eventually, a white militia surrounded the slaves, and the two sides clashed, resulting in victory for the whites. Slave labor laws were strengthened, and many slaves were executed. I hope you learned something from this presentation of the Southern Colonies. Thank you, and have a good day.